I will be taking a little bit of a step back from social media.
There is a face of Munchausen syndrome by proxy out there. This face of it believes they have sole ownership of it as if it is an advertisement title.
This creator also reached out to Kate because she was trying to get information from her to discredit Kate's story and to kind of make Gypsy look better.
They've really hyped her up to believe she can make millions. I'm not lying when I tell you that they have an agenda. I mean, hell, Lifetime wanted her to get pregnant for a storyline.
In my last video, we talked about how Gypsy Rose Blanchard was trying to silence another Munchausen syndrome by proxy survivor, Kate Marie, on TikTok. This past weekend, a whole lot of things happened in regards to Gypsy Rose Blanchard, which then led Kate Marie to deactivate her TikTok account. And unfortunately, a lot of this has to do with Without a Crystal Ball. So here's what happened. Now, just a brief background on Without a Crystal Ball and what she has to do with anything. She apparently says that she has had a relationship with Kristy Blanchard, Gypsy's stepmother, for around 5 years. Now, Without a Crystal Ball is on YouTube. She has a channel with 370,000 subscribers, and she is shrouded in controversy and lawsuits, which would be enough for a whole other video. So we're just going to stick to what's going on with Gypsy Rose Blanchard. On Thursday, May 23rd, Without a Crystal Ball publicly withdrew her support of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, sharing this article to her Instagram stories where Kim Kardashian meets with Gypsy Rose Blanchard, and she writes, "This has become about fame and money. Too many people are telling Gypsy to get her bag. Money is being put into trusts to avoid the appearance of profiting off of crime. The Hollywood people around Gypsy are not helping her at all." Then she shared this post to her Instagram. "I can't support this anymore." She wrote, "I have stood by for 5 years in support of Gypsy and her family, but I have reached the end of my journey. I have made my feelings known to the family. I made them clear in January. Profiting off of Schmurder is wrong. Becoming famous for Schmurder is wrong. Setting up trust funds to bypass laws regarding profiting off crime is wrong. There is no advocacy here. There is only a quest for fame and money. In fact, one of the producers told them, quote, 'Go get your bag,' end quote. They have been hyped up by Melissa Moore, who exploits crime victims and has made Gypsy and her family believe they are famous. Melissa believes Gypsy can get rich off of this, according to what I was told." Now, for anyone who doesn't know, Melissa Moore is the producer of the Lifetime series. This is what it's about: money. Gypsy was abused, but she is still a schmurderer. I have been clear about my concerns for months, but I just can't do this anymore. Gypsy isn't a bad person, but bad people in Hollywood are in her head. They believe anyone critical are, quote, haters. It is wrong to glorify Schmurder. She was told to stay off of social media, but she reopened her accounts. She is getting in fights with people on TikTok and comments. She was told not to get involved with Ken during her divorce by her lawyer. She was told not to speak to the media. I found out a few weeks ago it is Gypsy that is leaking to the tabloids. It's all too much. I just hope at some point they can see that fame and money is not the goal. Meeting Kim Kardashian in the red carpet fanfare is where I tap out, because this was not what they said they wanted or that would happen. I wish them the best. Until I can see change in work that is beyond money and fame, this doesn't align with my platform in any capacity. Victims can survive without schmurdering their abuser. Gypsy does have a microdeletion. I saw the records this winter. She has many actual issues due to this disorder. Dee Dee exaggerated the symptoms for money and attention. I do believe Gypsy's developmental issues are a part of this disorder, but that is just my gut feeling. Gypsy did not need a feeding tube and never had seizures. She was a she did not have to unalive her mother. Now, Kate Marie, the other Munchausen syndrome by proxy survivor, saw this post that Without a Crystal Ball made and actually commented under it. She said, "I am a survivor of Munchausen by proxy. I commend you for this. So much has happened on TikTok. I used to support Gypsy too, but then she started stealing my content and making her own, pretending to be an advocate, but it was all lies. It was for profit and to appear as someone she isn't. I spoke out against it. I want my people to know the truth. She came in my comments trying to pretend she didn't know me, but it's a lie. This has been an issue that started in January. Here we are in May and nothing has changed. She is like gatekeeping MSBP and has a platform with any survivor that has any type of my platform. I don't have a very big one, but it's a decent platform that I built over 3 years. The lies about advocacy and awareness impacted real survivors as we watch her gatekeep MSBP for profit. It's truly sad. Without a Crystal Ball replied to her comment, I was just watching your videos. I am going to send you a DM. And then Kate replies, please do. I'd love to talk to you. Now, Kate originally didn't know anything about Without a Crystal Ball, so she did go on to message her. Without a Crystal Ball would also go on to message Nina, the beauty influencer, on TikTok, and we will get to that in a second. Then, on Friday, May 24th, Gypsy Blanchard posts a video on TikTok about how she will be stepping away from social media. Here's that video.
Hey everybody, so I wanted to make a quick video because I wanted to thank everyone for their continued love and support that I've seen in my comments, that I've seen in my DMs. It really means the world to me that everyone's just been so nice and loving and accepting. So thank you for cheering me on and being the best cheerleaders out there. I will be taking a little bit of a step back from social media just to prioritize my family, prioritize my relationship with Ken, and just save a little bit of those special moments for family and just keep it a little bit more personal. I will be posting some promotional videos for my new documentary, Gypsy Rose Life After Lockup, airing on Lifetime on June 3rd. It's going to be a great documentary. It's a really great deep dive into what my life has been like these last 5 months. So I think a lot of people are going to be interested in it. A lot of people are going to definitely tune in because some things get a little juicy. But you'll all see it play out on our new show, so I'm excited to watch it myself. Again, this is just a personal choice that I'm prioritizing my own mental health, my family. I don't think there's anything wrong with having occasional check-ins with yourself that, hey, if you need to pull back a little bit, that's okay. If you want to take a step forward a little bit, that's okay. But knowing when to do so is probably the healthiest option. That's when you really know yourself. So thank you to everyone for their love and support, and stay tuned for more.
Now, also on Friday, May 24th, Without a Crystal Ball posts this to her Instagram. I made the decision to withdraw my support of Gypsy Blanchard last night. I posted my concerns about her not prioritizing her mental health and therapy. She's not. I shared that I was told specifically from the family that Gypsy was told by her probation officer in March to delete her public TikTok and Instagram accounts. This was a very specific request from the PO because Gypsy's behavior on TikTok was leading to reports being made to her probation officer. Gypsy was getting in fights with creators and making threats to people. These threats were reported to the PO. The PO told her that she needs to delete all public-facing social media. She deleted her Instagram but kept her TikTok account, which she was supposed to delete. I shared that Gypsy was told by a Lifetime producer, Melissa Moore, to, quote, get her bag, and that she could make millions on her story. This conversation was relayed to me a few months ago, and I specifically told Kristy this is profiting off of a crime. I have tried endlessly to steer them in the right direction, but the family and Gypsy are of the belief that Gypsy cannot work due to her conviction, and they don't want her working at, quote, Dollar General. Gypsy responded by leaving the internet. I noticed she used language that I used in my post as her reason for leaving. I learned only this morning that Gypsy was caught going after a survivor of MBP on TikTok and accusing her of lying. She was also caught leaving hateful comments on a creator's YouTube accusing the creator of losing custody of her kids, which was not the case. So basically, Without a Crystal Ball is taking credit for Gypsy leaving social media because, you know, it has nothing to to do with the fact that people are now talking about Gypsy's micro-deletion, the fact that she and her stepmother are trolling people in live streams, or, you know, the situation with Kate. But yes, it was because Without a Crystal Ball told her to. Now, for the brief moment that Without a Crystal Ball was not supporting Gypsy, she reached out to Nina on TikTok. So Without a Crystal Ball said, "Hi Nina, I have seen your videos about Gypsy. I was just watching a few of them. I know a lot and have known the family for years. I can help clarify if you need help." So this screenshot is from a video that Nina posted where she's talking about how Without a Crystal Ball messaged her, and then Nina goes on to share Without a Crystal Ball's original post where she was withdrawing her support of Gypsy. So here's just a clip of Nina's video.
Now, what I think is interesting is that this creator also reached out to Kate, because she was trying to get information from her to discredit Kate's story and to kind of make Gypsy look better. And I just thought it was ironic that she reached out to me the very same day after she deleted this post that she made yesterday.
So Without a Crystal Ball publicly withdrew her support of Gypsy, and less than 24 hours later was back to supporting Gypsy. She posted this on Facebook. "Oh, hi. It's been a minute. I was actually going to show my face today on my channel, but ended up on the phone with Gypsy for almost 3 hours. Anyway, don't want to let this makeup go to waste, so here I am." She also posted, "I have archived my previous posts about Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Not because I still don't feel concerned or have issues with the way Lifetime is handling the situation, but because no matter what, my post came from a place of protection. I want to be clear that Kristy nor Gypsy manipulate or dictate my feelings about them. When I have a concern, I can always express my feelings to them. I stand firm that I don't like how Lifetime has handled her story. I don't believe the image they portray of her on social media gives the story the seriousness or care that it deserves. Gypsy is not a perfect victim. I don't agree with the fact that she unalived Dee Dee, but the thing about Gypsy is that she doesn't believe she should have unalived her mother either. I don't have to support every decision that she makes to still want the best for her and her family. Gypsy is impulsive. She will tell you that herself. She also has trauma from her and often reacts from a trauma response when she feels out of control. She isn't an evil, horrible human. She is flawed like we all are. My concern for her is that she takes care of herself. I sometimes forget that she's under contract and has a massive network that is pushing all of this out. So much of what is posted on her social media is done by Lifetime. Gypsy and I had a very long talk today, and I was very, very open with her about my concerns. She heard them and agreed that she does need to take a step back. I will never pile on her. I will never hate her for her crime. I will support her taking care of herself and getting help. I don't want my friendship of 5 years with Kristy to end over Lifetime's agenda. Kristy isn't a bad person. She's a fierce, protective mom. But my favorite thing about Kristy and Gypsy is that I can tell them that I do not agree with what I am seeing, and they don't get mad. Gypsy is not in violation of the terms of her parole. Lifetime is using her platforms for promotion. She is also allowed to be paid to share her life today because it has nothing to do with her crime. Gypsy will never convince the public of who she is or who she is not. Then Nina made this video about Without a Crystal Ball.
Friend, the real tea was she thought she was gonna bait myself and other creators because she also was trying to discredit Kate. I'm waiting on her to do a video so I can eat her up because I have a lot on this lady that even some people haven't exposed yet. Katie Pooh, you met your match, but one thing I will say to you is I'm lawyered up in real life. You know, I don't have these major lawsuits because I'm not scandalous. So, lady, if you ready, because I'm ready when you ready, so come get it if you want to.
So after that, Without a Crystal Ball posted this on her Instagram stories. If you are using Nina on TikTok as a source about Gypsy, she is not only unreliable and mostly inaccurate, she also directly interfered in Gypsy's parole and falsely reported Gypsy for violating her parole. people who file reports are not anonymous, and the parolee is made aware of who is reporting her. Nina then flat out denied reporting Gypsy to her parole officer. So Nina and Without a Crystal Ball have a little bit of back and forth through their posts that they're making on their own accounts, which brings us to Saturday evening, where Nina and Kate Marie do a live stream on TikTok. And during this live stream, Kate Marie shares her story about being a Munchausen syndrome by proxy survivor, as well as her sister's story. And Kate's story is absolutely horrific. Now, apparently, during this live stream, either Gypsy, Kristy, or Without a Crystal Ball were watching, because then Without a Crystal Ball went on to post about it, which then led Kate to deactivate her TikTok account. Nina went on to post a video about this, so here's a clip.
During that live, apparently, Katie, Joy, Gypsy, and Kristy were on this live, or one of them, or all. The exact same story that Kate told. Katie went on her page and regurgitated it verbatim. And Kate made a post kind of speaking about it, but it was very discouraging to her. I'm going to show you the text messages that she sent me, and I just want you guys to read them.
So Kate said, "Hey girl, I'm going to take a break from TikTok. I can't do this. I can't go to war against Katie Joy," which is Without a Crystal Ball. "I have to remove that video before my life is hell against this crazy woman. It's not worth it. I'm so upset right now, I'm boiling." So I guess Kate must have made a video after Without a Crystal Ball posted about her story. So Nina says, "Okay, I get it. Just private it." Kate says, "I did." Nina said, "For you only, okay?" And then Kate says, "I posted it out of emotion. I have the receipts, but mentally I'm exhausted, and I'm not prepared to battle this crazy girl. I hate confrontation. This isn't what my TikTok was ever created for. I now don't even want to keep sharing how my sister and I survived because of behavior like this." Nina said, "Yeah, I understand, I do." Kate said, "My account is deactivated. That pushed me to a point. I can't go down that road. I'm just going to take a break. I appreciate your support. Thank you so much for having me in your life and a place to share my story. You can share these messages if you want to. You don't have to, but I know your messages and comments will flood with what happened. I feel like I'm giving Gypsy exactly what she wants, but I have to do this for me. My story or my sister's story does not belong to her. To bully real survivors off the app is a level so low I can't describe. Real survivors invalidate her, so our details become hers, and there can't be more than one." Nina responds, "I was going to ask you that, but I didn't want to be insensitive." Kate goes on to say, "It's okay. I know the love and support was there, so I know many will ask you. I have triggers, and this is something that I know I can't handle right now. What I just saw hurt too much." Now, I don't know exactly what Without a Crystal Ball posted about Kate, but she did have this on her Instagram stories where people could ask her questions about Gypsy, and she was posting answers in response to those questions, and we'll get into that in just a minute. Because if you remember, when Without a Crystal Ball was not supporting Gypsy anymore, Kate actually did message her, and then Nina posted those messages and what Without a Crystal Ball was saying in a separate video. So the audio you're about to hear is Without a Crystal Ball's voice.
People connected to this family about the issues with the people around her, about Lifetime, about the monetization of this, the exploitation of this. It's just, when you have a machine like Lifetime that's leading the charge and is demanding that people post and push and promote, your voice becomes so small. Like before she had a release and before she was released, my feedback was taken and actually valued. And once the machine started rolling, like my voice kind of got like lost. You know, they don't listen really anymore. And I don't expect them to do what I tell them to do, but they had always been like, "Oh yeah, you know, maybe we should just kind of lay back and chill out, you know, kind of thing." But Lifetime has money to make. And then they got linked up with this Brie girl, and that was a huge problem because I was like, why do you have her going on there like bulldog attack and like fighting with people and getting nasty with people? It's just not a good look. It's just not a good look.
So now we're trying to spin this as if it's all Lifetime's fault. Now, in between these audios, Kate replies to her, "I do feel like Gypsy is pretty selfish. I think she was used to everything revolving around her, that it's natural for her to only see it that way. I think that PR tour and the fame 2 days after getting out of jail was so wrong. So many are using her for a payday, in my opinion, and now she's staying stuck in all attention on her mindset. They are exploiting her like Dee Dee did. It's different, yes, but people exploiting her are benefiting."
You are correct. And I think because she is so comfortable seeking attention and she grew up with a mom that taught her to seek attention, this is what she knows how to do. She doesn't know how to do anything else. And because she's not really getting therapy or doing extensive therapy, like this girl needs intense therapy, not once a week therapy. But because she is so focused on the money side of things and they've really hyped her up to believe she can make millions. I'm not lying when I tell you that they have an agenda. I mean, hell, Lifetime wanted her to get pregnant for a storyline. It's so gross. I was so disappointed when I found out that they were doing a documentary, this reality show. By the way, it's not a documentary. This is reality TV.
Now, without a crystal ball said under that, I want nothing more for her to hear all of this feedback and actually think about it. But it's hard when people with money and fame are throwing it at you. Then this top message from Kate Marie is cut off, but it says, "Some beauty videos she made uplifting women and avoided my questions. It honestly was weird. Her and Kristy have been in my lives. Kristy has been in lives of other creators while I've been on the panel sharing my story. I see Kristy trolling more than Gypsy, but Gypsy does it too."
Kristy, I can understand where she comes from because she's just being a very protective mother. Like she's honestly just trying to protect Gypsy. But I do think that she can sometimes really get
protect the bag.
Too much feedback that's negative. And I can understand wanting to stop the hate, but and wanting people to see the person you see, but you can't control how other people view you, and you can't control what other people see and the conclusions they draw based on what they know. You can only control what you do. And I've tried to tell them that. I mean, I've tried so many ways to do this, and I don't have anything against Kristy. Yeah, I know that she's had some issues with Nina in the past, and I've told them, and I asked them and specifically suggested that they not interact with these creators because they're never going to change their mind. You know, like Nina has a very set opinion of Gypsy, and nothing that Gypsy would do would ever convince Nina that Gypsy isn't who Nina thinks she is, right? And so trying to get into the weeds with her would just cause more conflict. I don't know if that makes sense. I just have tried to remind them that they can't control what other people say about them. But I think, that can be hard if you're not used to this kind of exposure.
So Kate Marie replies back, "Yeah, I understand that." And then for some reason, without a crystal ball, starts talking about Nicholas Godejohn.
So there's a lot of misinformation out there about Nicholas Godejohn. And I think one of the challenging aspects is that people just put it all on Gypsy. Like she manipulated a guy that had a low IQ into doing this for her. And I think it's a very easy conclusion to draw. But I also think you have to remember that the state, in this case, is not going to cut her a deal if there isn't conclusive evidence that she was a victim of abuse.
This is simply not true. Prosecutors can offer deals to pretty much anyone, and they mainly do this to save a lot of time and money going through the court proceeding. They still get a conviction without going through the whole court process.
They're not going to give her mitigating factors if there's not evidence that she felt compelled that she had no other way out. And the state was very clear that Nicholas was a very dangerous individual that was looking to hurt people.
Of course they are, because it's their job to sell a narrative to a jury. Now, if you remember from my first video, Kate said that Gypsy copied one of her videos. So Kate asked, without a crystal ball, what her thoughts were on the video.
The challenge with your video and her video, I don't know that it's like her copying you. I mean, she could have been. I don't know what's in Gypsy's mind. I just know that she was getting a lot of feedback at the time from a lot of people that she wasn't looking like an advocate. Not just like people like you or the anti-Gypsy, but feedback in her own life that if you want to be an advocate, you have to look like an advocate. So I can't say. I mean, I think that there would be common themes that most survivors would have and opinions that most survivors would share that are common. Is it directly related to you? She could have seen yours and been inspired by it, maybe. Do you have examples of anything that she's said to you? I don't want to diminish what you're seeing either. I don't want to gaslight you. So there could be. I just don't know.
But you are.
So Without a Crystal Ball tells Kate that she's going to delete her voice memos because she doesn't want them saved. Then Kate asks her if Gypsy is able to profit from the show. Without a Crystal Ball responds, "From my understanding, no." Well, first of all, we know that that's not true. Gypsy's absolutely able to profit off of that Lifetime show. Kate also says, "I ask you to not share our conversation either. I have no intentions of sharing. I can't stand the drama surrounding what comes from that." Without a Crystal Ball says, "I will not." But at that time, Without a Crystal Ball had withdrew her support of Gypsy, and Kate did not anticipate what was going to happen after that. This is just my opinion, and I could be wrong here, but I think that Without a Crystal Ball planned this entire thing. And I say that because as soon as she publicly withdrew her support of Gypsy, she reached out to Nina almost immediately. So, is there some sort of information that you have that you're withholding about Gypsy that you wanted to give to Nina? Because what other reason do you have to reach out to Nina for, someone who is very much not in support of Gypsy? As soon as Without a Crystal Ball realized that Nina was not going to communicate with her or give her any information, she immediately went back to Gypsy's side. And like I said prior, Without a Crystal Ball was answering questions through her Instagram stories. I'm not going to read them all because we'd be here for an hour, so if you want to pause to read these, go ahead. But I am going to read a few because she contradicts herself. So this question was, who found out Gypsy has microdeletion, and how old was Gypsy then? So she replies, they've known about it for a long time. Dee Dee had her tested multiple times, but as I said, Gypsy does not have the symptoms of those that have the deletion and are impacted the most severely. She was tested as a baby or toddler, but I think the records that have been posted are from when she was 20. Dee Dee doctor shopped, so the records are such a mess. So in that response, she just said that Gypsy doesn't have any symptoms of the microdeletion. But in her post, where she withdrew supporting Gypsy, she said this: Gypsy does have a microdeletion. I saw the records this winter. She has many actual issues due to the disorder. So does she or doesn't she have issues? Because you're not making sense. And just a question, if Gypsy has known that she's had this microdeletion this entire time and it's in her medical records, how come it is not mentioned one time in any documentary ever? I'm just confused. We also heard Without a Crystal Ball say that she believes that Gypsy should be getting more therapy than what she's currently getting. And she's asked the question, did Gypsy get any mental health support while in prison? Education, ? She replies, she completed numerous group programs, taught programs, and earned her GED. She was not ill enough for therapy in prison. She is in outpatient therapy now. So the answer is no. No, she did not get therapy while in prison. How do you feel about the way GRB has bullied other survivors? Gypsy did not bully another survivor. She didn't even know that woman and never reported or copied her videos. Well, you don't know that to be true because you just figured out who Kate was this weekend. So how do you know if that's true or not? You don't. Next question. I meant to put Nina claims y'all, quote, made her deactivate her account. She replies, I didn't make Kate or anyone else deactivate their accounts. Gypsy nor I have any involvement in anyone's choices. Gypsy does not know Kate and did not bully her. Kate should be free to post content and no one would mind? That makes no sense. Now, this one's quite comical. Ryan recently stated he won't speak ill of Gypsy, just the truth. What's that about? She replies, I can't stand Ryan. Gypsy will also not go after him publicly. Really? She's already done that. But Ryan is really into fame and thinks he has fans. It's weird, and it's honestly a reason many of us don't like him. I felt he was there for the fame from day one of her prison release. He enjoyed it a lot. Who is many of us that don't like Ryan? Could that be Kristy? I mean, we all know that Ken was texting Kristy, which likely facilitated Gypsy getting back with Ken in the first place. She follows it up with, Ryan needs to just go away quietly and not make the divorce harder than it has to be. No one's making the divorce harder than it has to be other than Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Please be so for real. Are you surprised that Ryan is a teacher if he is a... She says, Ryan isn't who you think he is. There's a lot about him that has been kept quiet. That's all I'm going to say. Now, I would also like to point out that before Kate made her TikTok account private, her videos were in fact being reported. And yeah, TikTok may not tell you who is reporting your videos, but who else would be reporting Kate's videos? Let's just be honest here. Now, Gypsy's social media break was very short-lived, because she just posted this video.
This is so cringe. Oh my god. God, it's terrible.
However, that was very short-lived because she deleted that video and people started posting things like this. No way Gypsy called Baby Reindeer cringe, as if it was some silly little series and not a real story that left a man with lifelong trauma. Girl, what? In fact, there are now over 40 posts and videos made using Gypsy's sound from that video. This whole situation with Kate is just incredibly sad because the one platform that she had to share her story has now been taken away from her. And she has shared previously that she can't go on major TV shows and networks because they want consent from her mother in order for her to be able to tell her story.
Dr. Phil Show has reached out to me. Dr. Phil Show reached out to me in 2021 and actually just like 2 months ago. They actually reached out to the people on Hidden into Crime to reach out to me. Dr. Phil Show was canceled. He's now revamping himself and doing some Prime Talk thing. Dr. Phil wants my mother involved. My mother will not consent. So because it's deemed a mental illness and my mother is alive, for me to talk about my story on the Dr. Phil Show or on larger like platforms, news stations, they claim they need my mother's consent. This is another reason why I need to change from a mental illness. It's because I can't go on news or shows or anything and even talk about it.
That is incredibly messed up. And like I said in my last video, you would think that Gypsy Rose Blanchard would want to use her massive platform to connect with other survivors of Munchausen syndrome by proxy, to change laws, to make an actual impact and a difference in many people's lives. But she doesn't do that. Now, if you're not on TikTok and you want to see Nina's other videos and the full videos, she does have a YouTube channel now. This is it, and I will link it in the description of my video. That's all I have for now, so let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you could, please do me a favor and give this video a thumbs up. And if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, and I'll catch you on the next one.